All right. Mute the Twitch page. Send out the tweets. Get all the streaming stuff set up, and we should be good. Hello, everyone. This is Chris Ingerson, and it is November 16th, and this is the November 16th TextQuest Devstream. So, today we are going to be focusing more on timeline stuff. Specifically, we're gonna start off by moving all of our existing timeline scripts over to a new set of scripts that I've started working on and have mostly finished. Because the existing timeline scripts are actually using obsolete scripts, or rather, they're based on obsolete APIs. So, for example, if I go over here to let's go to Wizard Entrance. Let's see. So we have a play sound playable, which you can see I've renamed play old sound playable. This script was made using the basic playable behavior as a base for it, but that is a API call that doesn't really work anymore. It's being deprecated. But that was not the case when I originally started coding these things back when 2017.1 was still in beta. I've started porting a lot of that functionality over to new versions of the scripts that will actually play nice with the current system. And they're basically going to do the exact same thing. The only difference is that they don't have this deprecated warning, which means that they're not going to throw a bunch of warnings in my console whenever I boot up Unity. It is interesting what I learned porting all of this stuff. Kind of weird too, and we'll actually go over a little bit today the workflow for creating these scripts, because Unity does have a script wizard for this. We should be able, yeah, right here. So they have a full-on editor that you can use to. Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting. Can I not resize it? There we go. So Unity has a full editor for this, but it's kind of weird because there are a lot of limitations to it, and I actually had to get into their code and adjust some stuff just because of how weird it's set up. It was oddly limiting originally, and even now it's still kind of weird. And we'll probably make some more edits to it later on the Devstream today. But for now, we're just going to take a look at existing scripts and how to basically update them to use the new timeline scripts. Let's go ahead and close that. Although I suppose we might as well start with these 4 scripts. So these 4 scripts in this folder were created using the timeline script wizard, and I have not touched them yet. They were made completely with the script wizard. I haven't edited them yet. I haven't done anything with them. And they will replace the functionality that, go ahead and close these other scripts, that this class is doing currently. Again, you can see that it's using basic playable behavior, which is like a weird, it's an older version of how timeline used to work. It seemed like at some point they decided to break up the functionality of basic playable behavior into playable behavior and playable asset. So playable asset stores the data, while playable behavior determines how that data is used. And before it was just one script, really. So let's go ahead and close these unneeded scripts. And we'll go ahead and open the new scripts. We'll also take a look at the differences in how they are handling everything versus how I handled everything when I hand coded it. So I guess that means I should probably pull up, say this, and might as well pull up the asset while we're at it. Okay, so the important thing, I suppose, would be the clip and the behavior classes, because these are the things that the bulk of the functionality for timeline uses. Now, these aren't the only ones. When you use the script wizard, it actually generates 4 classes. And the two extra classes that it makes are a track asset, which is basically like a custom track in timeline specifically for this clip, or for this particular timeline asset, and then a or not a particle system mixer, a mixer behavior, which is more or less how multiple clips can blend together, if I'm remembering correctly. And for the most part, I don't actually need that, because for a lot of basic behaviors, I don't need mixing. They're meant to just be played flat out. They're not meant to blend into one another. Now this would be useful if you were trying to do something a little bit more dynamic, or you had, trying to think of an example that I would really use it on. I can't really think of one. I think typically Unity tends to do it with weird blending of like colors. So if you have like as an example, a light that's having its color driven by timeline, you could blend all of those colors together, and you could do that visually. But I don't really need that for most of my stuff. I'm not saying that it's totally useless. I'm just saying that I don't have a need for it right now. So I'm sure that eventually this will come in handy. But because it generates those 4 scripts, we're going to try to work within the limits of those 4 scripts. And I might end up deleting the 2 that I don't really need. Because I personally don't see much use in having a custom track for a custom track for every single one of your scripts. I feel like you can just put a lot of these on the generic playable track. Actually, I'm kind of curious if I can even do that. So do we have a play particle system? We don't, but I bet we would if I deleted the track. So for the most part, hold on. Let me go ahead and let's see. Beard, wizard. I guess there's no particles in this one, so let's go ahead and go to wizard escape, because this one should have some particle effects. So this does not have a particle track. It's just a regular old playable track, if I'm not mistaken. However, I can't really tell. And that's just simply playing a play particle systems playable. I suppose we can check that by going up here. Let's see, going to not that, and not that. Well, okay then. Do we have anything over here? No, they're all particles. Although audio is probably also a playable track, so you can see that we have play particle system playable. So that's kind of a weird thing that the script wizard does. I really wish that you could tell it what components specifically you wanted, because it does seem like a bit of extra work just to have individual tracks for these things when you don't really need that most of the time. I've also found that for some reason, the behavior scripts generated from this, one, they don't use the script templates that you create, which I guess somewhat makes sense because you're... Wait, really? Oh, no, that makes sense. I guess that also tells you how to properly do that, but what's the point of that? Well, whatever. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. So the behavior itself only gets the onGraph start function generated for you, but that actually seems kind of weird to me, because the most common ones that you'll want are probably override onBehavior play, which is when the actual beginning of the clip starts, and then onBehavior pause. Override onBehavior pause, which is called when the end of the clip is reached. So I don't know why they don't include those. They seem to put it all on graph start, which is specifically when the entire graph starts playing, I believe. So that's when your entire timeline. So for example, on graph start gets called where this white line is currently, whereas on behavior play, going out again. That means it's going to break my avatar. Give me a second. Gotta fix that real quick. Oop. All right. That should fix that. So on behavior play would be called like right about there on the red animation clip here. So it's weird to me, some of the decisions that they made. I don't really understand why they did it that way, but that's the way they did it. So just a little bit of weird oddity, in my opinion. So for the most part, I am going to go ahead and just outright delete the mix and track classes because we don't need them. At least I don't think we need them. And if worse comes to worse, I can always make them again. All right, we'll let that compile, make sure that we don't get any sort of errors thrown. Yeah, I really don't like that they don't use your templates though, because they don't use your templates. It means that I basically have to name all of this stuff again. Oh, right. Yeah, we'll go ahead and save that. All right. So I have to namespace these things. Namespace sleepy all dot text quest. And I don't really like having to do that. I'm also kind of curious if these have end of line warnings. Oh my goodness, they do. Ah, that's disgusting. All right, so that means that I need to do this. I'm not edit. Sorry, advanced save options. So this is basically it's going around all of the steps that I take to reduce how long it takes me to create scripts. To the extent that it's kind of easier for me to just hand code these things. Because they have everything namespace, they have the using that I need up here at the top. Because I almost never want to actually use system. I like to do system.serializable because there are a few things in system that contradict, or not contradict, that can sort of jostle with Unity engine for scripts. Like object, for example, will have the parser say like, I don't know what you mean. Do you mean system.object or Unity engine.parser.object? So there's just a lot of weird steps in here. Oh, right. It's not namespaced. Owl.textQuest. Which, of course, means that I got to do this again. I'm not. I think the wizard is a cool idea, but I think that their execution leaves a lot to be desired on it. Although I will say the digging into its code is actually pretty impressive because it does have some pretty cool reflection going on. So you can see a fair amount of how to do system.reflection methods, and they do some impressive stuff with it on a technical level, but design-wise, it's just. In any case, let's see. So we have our playables, playable.get behavior. So this is, go ahead and show you the difference here. So there's a slight difference in how they do things. They do have a template that they use, which I haven't really seen much need for a template. They can be useful, and I'm assuming that they're basically useful in situations where you want to have, obviously it's a template, so where you want to have specific default values set. But I don't see why you need an entire variable for that, and why you can't just make that the case in your actual class as a constructor. That's just me. It's kind of weird in my opinion. But for the most part, we basically do the same thing where I say I have a clip that obviously calls create playable, and then I have a behavior that I create, also called playable. However, it looks like they call their behavior clone instead of behavior, which is what I call mine. And for the most part, there's just different spacing. Also, they use var, which I don't normally use. I prefer to be very specific or explicit in my uses of variable names. So, all that griping out of the way, it is a pretty useful tool, and I can see how it would speed some workflows up, but for me it seems to add a lot of extra complexity that I don't really need. I don't see why these things can't be on the playables track, why they have to have their own custom track every time. Now there are certainly times where having a custom track is useful. In fact, I use that a couple of times, but that's not the only. I don't know. It's not like every single custom playable that you need has to have its own custom track. I feel like a lot of them can be shared on the generic playables track. Sorry, hit my mic. All right, so let's go ahead and get this to do what the old play particle system did. So we're going to need to do a couple of things. So we don't need to say, we don't need to do anything on graph start because we don't need to do this resolve. That's automatically done for us by the clip. You can see that's being done here. We do, however, want to do on graph stop and on behavior play and pause. Although we probably want to do an application.isPlaying check on these. So let's see here. We're going to go ahead and copy this over to here. Copy this to here. And I know you're not going to be happy about that, so we're going to change you back to particles. So application dot is plain. Actually, you know what? This one doesn't really matter if the application is plain. I usually only do that, or I usually do application.isPlane check for things that are going to be in different positions. But since this is just plain a particle system, I don't actually need that. Let's see. I suppose we'll go ahead and do this as well. So this on graph start, not start. Do we just want to say stop? Okay, good. Same thing. Stop. So this on graph stop is called when the end of the graph is reached. And this bit of code here is basically a safety check in case a particle system is set to loop. It will automatically call stop instead of telling it to, or instead of just letting it go forever. All right, so that's basically all the functionality for that we need, and that's basically all the functionality for the clip that we need. So if we let that compile, let all of this clear, then if we wanted to, we'll go ahead and do this on the wizard escapes cutscene because there's not a lot here that we need to do. Let's open you up. All right, do I have any sort of multiple line endings? Nope, should be good. Cool. So if we wanted to, we could go ahead and add a new playable track. This is just a generic playable track. If we right click and do add clip, and let's see, we're going to want to do play. Oh, that's interesting. Here we are, play particle system clip. Kind of funny that they show clip, whatever. So play particle system clip. This is our new script. We're going to go ahead and drag it so that it matches the old clips. This is the reason why I didn't just redo the old clips, or the old scripts, because if I redid them completely, they would actually, their references would be lost for the previous existing data. So I'm basically going to use them as a way to basically eyeball what I had set before and just match it in the new system. So let's go ahead and select this. So we have a template. Again, don't really see much of a need for it. Although this is interesting. Where is my bool? Does that not exist? Interesting. Why would you do it that way? Seriously? What's the point of that? So this is weird to me. For some reason, so it looks like it did include the two parameters that I wanted to on the behavior, which is a particle system reference and then a bool that lets it know if it should control child particle systems. But for some reason, the clip doesn't have that. So what's the point? Why do it that way? That's really weird. That means you have to use the template, except the template, I mean, why? The template has a particle system field, so why not just have that stuff contain all the information and then get rid of all of the exposed, I guess because exposed references wouldn't, but then why? Okay. Well, for the time being, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Equals false. We're going to go ahead and just copy this, paste this down here, and we'll do clone dot control child systems is equal to control child systems. We're also going to go ahead and rename this to behavior because I like to call it that. All right, I'm also going to go ahead and get rid of the template because I don't see much of a reason for it. So we can just do all that fun stuff. And we will also go ahead and rename this instead of calling it var. Right. I know that that's more work for me personally, not just typing var, but I don't know. I like being able to look at it and immediately know what it is instead of having to hover over it and then trying to interpret what my tooltip tells me. All right, so let's go back to effects, laughter, playable track. So now we have all of this information. Let's go ahead and give this a little test drive. Oops. Pull in our particle system here. It's also interesting that it's like partially. Oh, interesting. Let's see. Laughter does not have any child systems, so I'm not going to let it control child systems. This little control child systems is an optimization thing, because if you tell it to, well, when you call play on a particle system, you can tell it to call play on all subsequent particle systems, but that's actually kind of not super efficient. So generally, I try not to do that. It's one of those weird hidden expenses that Unity has in abundance that you never think about. So in general, I tend to leave that unchecked unless I need it to control multiple systems. All right, so that's interesting. This one also has a recording option. I wonder why that is. Oh, that's also interesting. This one has blending, but this one doesn't. Probably because I got rid of the the mixer. That is curious, though. We also don't get ease in or ease out duration. I don't need it for this. We're going to keep an eye on that because I'm kind of curious what adds that stuff. Well, anyway, so these should be doing the same thing. They're starting at the same point. They're ending at the same point. I kind of feel like I should just make this say 6. Like that. So it's not 5.9999999. Hello, Gelmega. How are you doing tonight? All right, I'm also going to go ahead and mute this so that it doesn't play. We're going to set up our various particle systems. I'll go ahead and rename this to particle old, and then particles. So we're going to basically replace the audio and the particles, and we'll see if this cutscene still plays out as expected. And if it does, then we'll go ahead and delete the originals, because that means that everything will be set up to duplicate them anyway. Do I have anything in particular? Yeah, the animations. That's also movement, so that should be fine. All right. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to go ahead and add some playable tracks. Oh. Okay, I was going to say, where did it go? That's really weird. I don't know why I did that. I guess we'll actually put it below the other audio. Let's go ahead and add another playable track. Okay, so this is going to be particles old, audio old, and audio. Probably not going to stay that long. I'm a bit tired. All right. That's understandable. It is pretty late over there. Sorry I can't stream earlier on in the day. Like I get off work usually around 5, but sometimes that goes a little bit later, and it's really just too risky for me to promise anything before 7. Because if I don't have that 2-hour buffer, I have worked until 6 or later before. Although usually if I work until 6:30, I just cancel the Devstream, admittedly. Because, you know, it's hard to come back from work and then immediately transition into Devstream mode. All right, so this is going to go to our play particle system clip. Go ahead and do this. You know, so I know I was just griping about the whole custom track thing, but it actually could be useful purely so that I could automatically rename these things. Similar to how our audio or our play music track will allow us to dynamically resize and rename these clips. I could do something like, well, how to phrase it. Basically, whenever we assign the reference to the particle system, we could rename this clip to say, play particle system and then whatever it's called, or whatever the name of the particle system is. That could be interesting. We might try that, actually. Let's do that. Let's do that. And actually, you know what? Same thing with audio, actually. So, wow. I just spent like 2 minutes bashing the concept of custom tracks for everything, and then immediately after, I'm like, hey, let's make custom tracks for this stuff. So I guess that means I'm actually going to unmute this, and then we're going to delete this because I need to make custom tracks. Go figure. All right. So a couple of things. Where are you? Why are you highlighting that? That's not what I care about. Collapsing all the folders I don't need open. Let's see. Here we are. Play particle system. So we're going to go ahead and create C# script. Play particle system track. Go ahead and open that up. Reload everything because of course we're going to do that using Unity editor, or not editor, dot timeline. It's going to be a track asset. Okay, now let's see if I can do this all from memory. I'll be very impressed. Track color, which I don't know why they did it this way. So for this, I'm just going to make it white. So 1F, 1F, 1F. Track binding type, right? That's interesting. Oh, that's a track clip type attribute. Oh, no, that's what it is. Okay. Track binding type. We're going to go ahead and make this a type of play particle. Oh, right. Text quest. Play particle system clip. I think that's all we need for that. In fact, I don't even need to override anything really. At least not for now. We'll go ahead and let that go. And then now, if we try to create a play particle system playable on a generic playable track, it shouldn't show up. Oop, and of course it collapsed everything. All right, so if I right click here, add clip, you see, oh no, look, it is still there. Which must mean that I need to do track clip type then. I guess that's fair. Type of play particle system clip. Why would I need to have both of these things though? I thought the type of, oh, that's the binding type. Duh, I don't need the binding type. Yeah, I need track clip type. Track binding type is let's see if I can find one. I should have one in the wizard. Is like this. It'll expose a field here that you can then drag components into. But I don't need that for particle system track because I need to allow for multiple particle systems. All right. So again, if I right click, add clip, now there shouldn't. Yeah, you can't. There's play particle system playable, but that's the old script. That's not the new one. You'll see the new one is gone. So instead, I want to go down here, add. So you got the text quest. We want to do play particle system track. All right. Let's go ahead and add play particle system. Oh, clip. Good work there, Unity. All right, we'll go ahead and snap this, snap that, and after is the particle system that we have at control. So if we wanted to, we could do override, create track mixer, and this is where things get a little weird because we have to basically set up a bunch of checks for the track mixer. Otherwise, it's going to fire a bunch of times when we don't need it to, and it's going to constantly be setting the duration of these clips, which is not really that desirable. So let's go ahead and go up here. Say override duration. Let's go ahead and go up here, here, and here. I wonder if I should have a custom playable asset class that I derive from for my scripts here. Because, let's see, what was it? Play music? Yeah, play music clip. So I have this stuff, a clip duration, that's basically replacing how duration functions. And then this gets set through our play music track. If it compiles, I can show you that. And this is essentially what we set up on Tuesday, just with a little bit of minor adjustments to make it run a little bit better. So we have a create track mixer. We have an is dirty check that is, for now, static because I just can't figure out a better way to do it. I don't like having it be static, but that's kind of how it's got to be right now. So we create a track mixer, create track mixer gets called. We check if we're dirty. If we're not, we don't care about anything. If we do, then we set is dirty to false, and we're going to basically rename and resize, for lack of a better word, all of our clips in this track to match the duration of the clip that they should be playing, or the audio clip that they should be playing, as well as the name reflecting the audio clip that they're targeting as well. So we can do functionality like that. I don't know if it would be good to do something like that, because we could very easily say, let's see, in our create track mixer, we could have a is dirty check, and then we could say for all of the tracks that we see, if they're not set to loop, then set the duration of the clip and the name. Well, not the name. The name is always going to be set. Set the duration of the clip to be the length of the what's the term? The particle system. However long it's supposed to play for. So I'll go ahead and show you what that would look like. So we're going to say for int I equals 0, I is less than m clips dot count, right? Yep. I plus plus. We're going to say if. Ooh, this is also going to be interesting. Yeah, no, I'm actually going to steal some of what I did here. Grab all of this because I have to cast it. I'm still fairly new to this. So we don't want it to be play music clip. Instead, we want it to be play particle system clip. Let's see. We're going to say mclips I.display name is going to be equal to play particle system. And then we're going to have in parentheses, let's go ahead and change this. So this is going to say clip dot, this is going to also be interesting, particles. Do I have to resolve, or can I do name? Expose name, that would be nice. Does that work? I feel like that doesn't work. I don't actually know what expose name is. I've never seen a property name either. String as an int for efficient lookup and comparison. Oh, okay. A property name can be here, but not converted back to a string. Same string always results in the same int being. Huh. Weird. Okay. So we'll leave it like this for now. I'm curious to see what that actually does. The idea here is that it should rename that the clip that we see in the timeline to reflect the particle system name. And then, of course, we're going to go ahead and say if clip.particles. You know what? I probably have to resolve it anyway. Gross! Okay. Yep, okay. That's fair. So we're going to go ahead and do particle system. We'll just call it system particles. Particles is equal to clip.particles.resolve, and then graph.getResolver. So all of this fun extra code that we have to do, we're just going to go ahead and do this. So particles.name, and then, let's see, if particles.length loop. I'm sorry, if not particles.loop. Are you really a not? Oh, of course you are. Was it get main? Or no? I think it's main. Yeah. Dot loop. Yeah. So at some point, Unity decided, it's too easy to adjust particle systems through script, so we're going to make all of our old calls obsolete and make all of the new stuff getters. Because, screw programmers, am I right? So if we are not setting our particle system to loop, then we have a obvious definition or obvious duration that we can check. So let's see, clip.duration. Do I want to do that? Yeah, that's probably fine. All right. So back here at the clip, we're going to go ahead and say, actually, hold on. I gotta remember how to do this. Clip duration, what sets you? Oh, you're done with the custom inspector. Right. That's so bad. Right. I forgot about that. Yeah, so whenever this change, we set the clip duration. Okay then. So that's going to put a wrinkle in some things. I don't really feel like I should have to do that, but I suppose that does make sense. We would want it to rename anyway. All right, that's fair. Let's also go ahead and go back here to play particle system. That's the playable. What's the old one? I don't need that anymore. Here we are. The track is what I was looking for. We're going to go ahead and say public static bool is dirty is equal to false. Also, actually, I want to check something real quick because okay, never mind. I thought for some reason I had to set is dirty to be true so that it would actually work the first time, but I don't think I have to do that anymore. So we're going to go ahead and say if is dirty. We're going to do all this stuff because again, we don't want to do this every single time that create track mixer is called, which is basically whenever the track is shown. Or whenever it seems like whenever anything is edited on the graph, it seems like create track mixer is called as well, and that's not super great because again that's just wasted effort if we don't actually want it to change anything. So marking it dirty is a nice way for it to only do that whenever you boot up Unity for the first time, or if you actually do a change that you have manually set to set the track to be dirty. So let's see here. Good. So we're going to say is dirty is equal to false. We are going to do all of this fun stuff, and let's see what else. What do we want to do here? In clip, hold on, gotta save this. In clip, we're going to want to, I believe, say set dirty. No, it's only done through the editor, huh? Hey, well, that does complicate things a lot. Although I will check that just to be sure. Yep, it is done purely through the editor. Oh, joy. Joyous. All right. So, you know what? I'm kind of curious. Nah, we'll finish this up. So let's go ahead and make an editor folder. Editor. We're going to create C# script, play particle system clip editor, I guess. Don't really have a good name. Gonna go catch some sleep. See ya. All right. Have a good night, man. Ah, crap. I meant to ask you how your game engine was coming. I will assume that it's coming all right. So, go catch some sleep. It's not fun trying to stay up super late. All right, let's open this back up. Reload all. All right, so say using Unity, not engine, editor. It's going to be an editor. Let's go ahead and go up here. This is text quest. Custom editor type of play particle system clip. All right. Let's see. So first off, we're gonna go ahead and say, I haven't. Nope, I don't. Okay, that's fine. Private void on enable. If target. Wow, iterator. That is not what I wanted to do. If target is equal to null, we're gonna just return. Let's go ahead and go over here. So I have to do this if target is equal to null check at the beginning of on enable, just because if I don't, it seems like Unity will freak out whenever it recompiles and timeline is open. Probably because of some weird exposure or some weird serialization issue. Not entirely sure why it does it, but all right. So we're gonna do a couple of things. First up, we're gonna do private play particle system clip. We'll call that clip. At the end of on enable, we're going to say clip is equal to target as play particle system clip. Get rid of everything else here. Oh, this is going to be interesting. I've not done an exposed reference yet, so we're going to see what happens there. Private const serialized property m particles private serialized property m control child systems. Is that what I called it? Let's see. Definitely called something. Aha! Perfect. And then of course we're going to go ahead and say m underscore particles is equal to serialized object dot find property particles. Paste that in. It's going to be called particles. Copy this. Okay. And we're going to go to override on inspector GUI. Get rid of the based on inspector GUI. Say serialized object dot update. Serialized object dot apply modified properties. All right. And then between that, oh, you know what? We're also going to go ahead and do. Okay, I was going to say, do I not do that there? We're going to say using sleepyowl.common. We're going to say forward the serialization or the updating. We're going to say custom editor. Okay, custom editor. Oh, right. I always forget. Editor. Utility. Dot draw script field. Serialized object. And that just draws the script field that most inspectors have by default. It's a nice little feature to make it easier to edit scripts. And then from there, we're just going to draw the actual properties that we want. So this is going to be interesting. I'm curious to see if normal serialization methods work for exposed references. That's what this particles variable is. But we'll see, I guess. So editor GUI layout dot property field m particles, and then editor GUI layout dot property field m underscore control child systems. That's all good. Yeah, that should pretty much be it. We'll have this on change check stuff added in later. I'm mostly curious just to see if it'll work right now. Also, this is custom editor, right? Yes, good. Making sure. All right. So let's go ahead and go to effects. So that was the particle systems. We have play particle system track. All right, that seems to be working. That's cool. All right. Oh wait, do we have a? Right, the clip is not. Yeah, right. That's fair. All right. So for the particles, we're gonna have editor GUI dot begin change check. Then if editor GUI dot end change check. We're gonna say how do we want to do this? Oh, this is Oh, that's really kind of awkward, isn't it? I don't know how to resolve exposed references. Eh, that's not good. Uh, Frack. Okay. Hmm. This does present a problem. No, it doesn't. Well, no, it does present a problem. Um, I don't know how to set the duration based on that then. Hmm. Okay then. Hmm. Yeah, that's super weird. That's not great. Um, I suppose I could add a function here. God, that would be so weird. All right. Um, so we're gonna go ahead and go to play music clip. We're gonna add a public, oops, public float get duration. This is really weird. We're gonna say, oh, and that is the wrong thing because of course it is. Okay, get rid of you. Um, get rid of a couple of things that I don't need. So we want play particle system clip. There we go. That's what I want. So we're gonna go ahead and say public float get particle duration. We're gonna say return particles dot duration. Nope. Right. Ah, crud. Okay. Dang it, that really makes things difficult for me. Eh, yeah, I don't really know what to do there. Um, huh. Let me think. Um, I guess I'll have to do it this way. Jeez, this is going to be weird. So public float get duration. We're going to have to pass a playable graph, and it will have to return particles dot resolve graph dot get resolver. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and do this too. Particle system. No, not that. Particle system. Particle. Nope, can't call it particles. We'll call it system is equal to that. Return system dot. Oh no, system is equal to null. Question mark. If so, we're going to return 0f. Otherwise, we're going to say system dot duration. Oh right, no, it's system dot main dot duration, isn't it? Okay, so if it's null, we probably should also have it be like a default. Nah, zero. Zero is fine. All right, and for that means that all I have to do for the custom inspector, honestly, is say play particle system track dot is dirty is equal to true. All right, so that means we're going to go back here to our track, and we're going to actually have to set the duration here. So we need to go down here to our clip here. We're going to go ahead and say public float. Oh, no, not float. Sorry, void set duration. Float duration. And we're going to say this dot duration is equal to double duration. Right, that's right. So I want this to actually be private float. Nope. Double clip duration is equal to 0.0, and then we're going to serialize that field. So we're going to say this dot clip duration is equal to that, which I guess I can get rid of this. Yeah, and this is what I was talking about when I was saying, should I have a base playable asset that I should drive from? Because if this is my approach for changing duration automatically, then ideally I would just make this protected and have it be something that's just include it as a base. It's all right for now. All right, so back here on the track. So if we don't loop, then we're going to have to do this. We're going to need to say float duration is equal to I'm sorry, is equal to clip dot duration. I'm sorry, clip dot get duration, and then we're going to pass in our graph, and then we're going to have to calculate stuff based on that. Hello, Josh. Welcome back. You only finished half of the movie, which is funny because you finished half of the first half of not a trilogy, a duology. So technically, you've only finished a fourth of the movie, if you consider two parts to be one big movie. All right. So we have our float duration, which means that next we're going to have to say clip dot set duration, then pass it duration right back, and then we're going to go ahead and say, oh, you know what? Actually, no, we're going to say if duration is greater than 0, we're going to do that because I don't want to pass in a duration of 0. Pretty sure that would make it either impossible or very difficult for me to actually change the duration again. So if it's 0, we're not going to actually change its duration. And after that, we should be good. So let's go ahead and load that up and give it a try. It's going to be interesting. I'm also pretty sure that laughter is actually set to loop, so this might not even do anything for it. Ooh. I'm glad I muted the page, just in case. God, that's some crazy stuff. Yeah, there's a point where I just can't physically do the stuff like Osu or Citus. It kills me. Like my hands aren't fast enough. I'm just like, thick meaty sausage fingers, can't do it. All right, let's go back to effects, laughter. Go to the inspector. So we're going to set this to nothing. So nothing should happen. Uh-oh. Playable asset returned to null, playable on instantiate. That's interesting. Interesting. Particles.name. Oh, right. So I need to say particles equal to null, question mark. If so, we're going to do something else. Otherwise, we're going to do particles.name. We're going to say none. There. That should fix that. And then here we're also going to say if particles is not equal null and all this fun stuff. All right, which I guess actually means that I can get rid of that whole duration check because did that wrong. Because the only way I could get a 0 is if it already had a duration of 0, which would have had to have been manually done. So we'll let that go. Because you haven't practiced enough. Everybody is that way at first. Well, I mean, no. Back when the heyday of my playing Citus, I would play that in college, basically between classes. So I would like have a class, get out, and then I had 15 minutes to get to the next place. So I would get there and sit at a desk until class started, and I would just be messing with Citus. But even then, I think I could do hard mode, but I could never get like the top scores. I could never get like perfect across the board because of just how ridiculous it was. I tried, believe me, I tried, but it's just super weird. Well, not weird. It's just there are some points where I don't know if it was because of the music or if it was just because I wasn't good enough, but I couldn't quite get the beat correct, and it would just like I would end up like half a second late, or not half a second, it'd be even less than that. It'd be like, I don't know, 16th of a second, if that. But over time, that stuff adds up, so you don't get a perfect score. You get like a B or an A. And it's just like, well, I'm a garbage player apparently. Okay, so we didn't get invalid time value assigned. That's interesting. What did you think you were? Oh, I guess we'll also do clip dot duration. I'm curious to think if it's like, does it think that we're setting it to be 0? Oh, I wonder if it's a frame delay problem. Ah, that would suck. So does that mean that you're super good at it, Josh? Are you just like perfect scores all the time? Because I wish I was like that. Sadly, I am not. I've been playing Devil May Cry 3 recently, and I've discovered, one, I'm better than I used to be as a kid, but two, I'm worse than I used to be as a kid when I was at my peak. Because I had trouble with some of the stages where I remember not having trouble when I was younger. But that could also be because I was playing it on hard mode without any of my upgrades. So it's like, yeah, that's fair that I would have some trouble at least. All right, we're going to go ahead and swap this out for... I'll just swap it out for laughter again. Okay, we got invalid. Infinity! That's interesting. We have a duration of infinity. Oh, let me guess. Wait, no. Wait, does that mean that it's not set to loop? No, it's not. Yeah, it should have a duration of 3. That's what I would expect. Infinity, though, huh? Interesting. Let's also go ahead and debug duration plus... So we're going to have a split there between the two. So we can, at the very least, hopefully see what duration thinks it is. I mean, this all seems like it would work in the way that I would expect, right? Oh, I just realized that this is kind of pointless, isn't it? Because I'm doing that right there. So why bother? I could just do this. Let's see, particles equal to... Oh, I don't have to do a null check there because I would have already done it. So I can do particles dot main dot duration. See if that does it. Maybe I was doing something stupid before. It's quite likely I was doing something stupid. That's just how I roll. I'm rank 1500. Well, that means you're in the top 2000, so that probably is actually pretty good. Considering I'm assuming that it's a mobile app for the most part, which probably means that it has tens of thousands of downloads. Unless it's just like a niche thing. But even then, it probably has about 10,000, so you're probably in a real... I mean, I'm clapping. That's the point there. Oh, you know what? I wonder if its duration is infinity because it's disabled. That could be interesting. Let's go to Wizard Escape. Let's try it out. How does it go from 3 to infinity? I genuinely don't understand. Right? Like duration says it's 3, which means that set duration down here must think it's something else. That's the right duration. Duration, I don't understand. How can you possibly be infinity? Also, so I don't even need this anymore. Okay. It's the opposite of a mobile app. Oh, really? I didn't even realize it was PC only. I thought that the video you posted was just someone who was playing it on PC. Huh. That makes it even crazier. Because that seems like it would be mouse touches? Like dragging around with a mouse? Or I guess it could be touchscreen thing. Saw that the person in the video was using one of the pens. Well, either way, yeah, 1,500 out of 3 million people is a very, very good position to be in. All right, so let's try this again. I don't understand. How are you getting set to be infinity? That is so weird to me. Let's go ahead and go back here. We're going to cast this to double. Double. And I'm just curious to see what it thinks. Like, how on earth are you getting set like that? You aim with your right hand and tap with your left. Oh, okay. Huh. Yeah, that would make it even harder for me. Um, doing like a multiple, like multi-hand approached. Ugh. I lack. Well, actually, I don't lack muscle coordination. I do. Well, I have very good thumb coordination, but my actual fingertips are a lot less responsive because I never really had to train those until I got into college. uh, so, okay, let's go ahead and try to reassign this. Let's see, is it infinity and infinity? Well, then what the heck? How can you be infinity then? Um, that is so weird. Let's go ahead and peek this. Clip duration. Oh, that would be why, because I didn't change this, so it should be using clip duration. There, that's better. Okay, let's go ahead and let that go. It's free. Well, even so, I don't need another game in my life eating up my time trying to improve my skill set. Now that I've rediscovered, well, not rediscovered, now that I figured out how to play Devil May Cry 3 on my computer, I think that's going to probably eat up whatever free time I have. Because I do love that game so much. It's very, very fun. Oh, interesting. Huh, interesting. So if I redirect you, there we go. Okay. And just out of curiosity, we'll go ahead and set you to be looping. Let's change you back to Wizard Escape. We're going to grab you. I'm just going to stretch. And let's assign this. Hold on. Laughter. Interesting. Oh, you know what? That makes sense, actually. This is going to be kind of weird, but we're going to get rid of this check here. And instead, we're going to go ahead and set this. Set duration. Particles.main.duration. Actually, we're going to set this here. So if it's loop, question mark, we're going to do float.infinity. Else it's going to do that. And then we're going to say if we're not looping, then we're going to set the duration. So this is kind of weird, but basically what we're doing is if we have a particle system reference and it's not set to looping, then we're going to use its duration. If it is set to looping, then we're going to set our duration to be infinity because that's technically how long it would go for. And then we are not going to set the duration of the clip to infinity because obviously that would be stupid. But if it's not, if the duration of the clip isn't set to infinity, then we're going to set it to be whatever duration it actually is supposed to be. So we'll let that go ahead and compile. We should see this change, I think. I think it will happen on recompile. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't need more games eating my time as much as I would enjoy it. Cool. So now if I go ahead and turn you off of looping, go ahead and turn you back to Wizard Escape, select you again, we're going to grab you and perfect. Cool. So now I can very easily visually see that. Wow, that was just gibberish. Now I can easily see the duration of my particle systems. So that's pretty nice. I've never messed with the timeline in Unity. I mean, it's still fairly new, and as you can see, I'm struggling with it a fair amount. I'm just trying to figure out how to get things to do what I want. Like this, I mean, it took me what 2 hours of Tuesday's Devstream to figure out how to do this automatic resizing, and I'm still not happy with it because I have to have a freaking static bool, and I feel like having a public static bool in my track script purely for my convenience is a sloppy way to code. But I don't know a better way to do it, honestly. Unless I can do like, can I get what's in my graph actually? Now that I think about it, let's see, destroy playable, destroy subgraph, we can evaluate, get playable count, get resolver, get root playable count. Type is done, valid, play resolver, stop. I mean, surely there's a way for me to basically check if this track is actually dirty somehow, but I think we did look at the class on Tuesday, and we didn't really get anything from it. At least nothing useful. Uh, but it is kind of annoying that timeline asset. I wonder what that is. But yeah, it kind of sucks that there's not really a good way to get all of these references, and they have a bunch of odd code that you have to dig through to get anything useful. Like you can see, we have the graph.getResolver stuff. So this extra chunk of code is necessary anytime you want to actually use something that's a reference type and not just a value type. And it just sucks because that all piles on and it makes it much more sort of unwieldy to use. Yeah, public static. It's gross. I don't like doing that, but that's the only way I can think of to get it to work. I mean, I could have I guess, a private static and then a function that calls set dirty, but that's not really much better. The only place those words belong is in public static main. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Like I said, I don't like that I have it. I find it disgusting that I have it, but it's the only way I can think of to make this work. Because I can't call create track mixer whenever I want. I have to make the graph call it, or I have to make the timeline call it, and I can't really do is dirty as a function because it would have to be static anyway because I still don't know quite how to grab the affected tracks. So it's not an ideal solution. I wonder, actually, hold on. So if we go over here, can we get the track that this is on? Track asset. No. Is there like a get? No. Because it would be really nice if I could figure out what track this asset was on, because then I wouldn't have to have a static reference. I could just grab it. Let's see, the playable injected into the graph, or the root playable if multiple playables are injected. The game object which instantiated the build. You know, I know I give Unity flack for their documentation, but sometimes it's just obvious what they meant, right? It's obvious. I mean, who needs any more explanation besides the game object which instantiated the build? Perfect. Jeez. Yeah, that's kind of frustrating. I don't even know if owner exists all the time. I would think it would have to exist pretty commonly, otherwise it wouldn't be passed this often, I wouldn't think. But ugh. All right. What to do about this? Well, I guess I shouldn't linger on it too long. So for now, we have to be disgusting and use is a public static bool. Although I can assure you that if once I figure out how to get around that, I will very swiftly remove it because I hate public static stuff. Those are kind of like last resort or only for editor tooling things, and even then, again, you really shouldn't have to do it very often, if ever. All right, so we have our track mixer functioning for our particle systems, so it'll automatically size them and rename the clips and all of that, which is nice. So we will go ahead and actually, this is kind of curious because if you're not set to loop, then why did you for so long? Excuse me. I had to sneeze. All right. Let's go ahead and select our laughter here. I suppose we'll set it to loop, but if I don't already have it looping, then I'm not entirely sure if I would need to. So let's go ahead and go back. Wizard escape. We're gonna go ahead and mute the old track. We'll keep the new one. See if it works. Let's go back down here. Oh, right. We're going to need a sound aren't we? So let's go ahead and go down here to folder. Oh wait, are we doing that already? We might be. All right. So we are going to want a editor folder down here. Editor. Play old sound and adjust. Update sound behavior. Want to play sound clip. All right. So I want to have a create C# script. We're going to say play sound track. That was unintentional, but that's pretty funny. Play soundtrack. Puns. All right, let's go ahead and open that up. Reload all. Let's go ahead and get rid of our play particle system stuff because we don't really need it. Although actually we will. Well. Yeah, I wonder if we can. I'll play some Skyrim. We'll look for a bit. Which version of Skyrim? Just out of curiosity, are we talking original? Are we talking PC? Talking Xbox 360, PS3? We doing special edition? We doing VR, Switch edition? There are so many Skyrims that you could mean. All right, so we're probably going to do something similar to this. I don't know if I should just move this into the isDirty function. I feel like that would actually make things a little bit cleaner. So let's go ahead and come back here. I'm going to go to play soundtrack. All right, let's say using, nope, not Sleepy Owl. Using Unity Engine dot timeline. This is going to be a track asset. Track asset. So we're going to have track color. And I think we established what, like 0.8, 0.3, and 0f for our music track. 9 and 5. I was way off. All right. Original on PC. All right. I'm gonna make a new character. Yeah, I always have trouble replaying Skyrim. I've tried so many times, and I start playing, and then 5 minutes in, I'm like, I'm bored. I'm done. All right. Before we forget, we need to go ahead and do track clip type of play sound track. We'll go ahead and play sound clip, and then go up here and set our not text quest. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and override, create track mixer, do the base stuff. I got our nasty public static bools. Dirty. I really can't wait until we fix that and change that to be something different. I say if is dirty is equal to false. Oh, I also just realized that doesn't work. Crud. Huh. So the static bool approach will actually only work as long as we only have one track that's visible. That sucks. Okay. Because if we have multiple tracks, since it's a static variable, it's only going to be checked on one of them. It's not going to affect all of them. Crud. That does not really work then. Yes. I don't really know what to do there then. We are going to have to find a way to grab our tracks then. Okay. Well then. To the internet. We're going to figure this out. So Unity timeline get clip track. Let's see, understanding track, working on clips, timeline overview, activation track, blah, 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 timeline clip, Running timeline clips through code with picture. This could be useful. Let's see. An editor button. Track asset.create default clip is what you need. We'll create a new clip with default duration. Okay, so that's not exactly going to be useful, is it? Friggin' really. Track asset. Let's go ahead and take a look at the script or the functions that we have here. Is empty. Does this track have any clips? Parent, the owner of this track. Timeline asset. So it's funny, the track can get its clips and its timeline, but clips don't know about their parent, which I guess is kind of fair. It just sucks because I don't know how to mark it dirty. Get child tracks. Get clips. I really just don't want to have this happen every time. Maybe that's what they expect you to do. I guess that's not unusual for them. And by them, I mean Unity. So I guess we'll just try it that way. So we won't even have this is dirty check anymore, which sucks. But I suppose we'll live with it. Alright. So we're going to say for int I equals 0, I is less than m underscore clips dot count I plus plus. All right. What do we want to do with this? We want to set our duration based on the sound, I think. So we're going to go ahead and say play sound clip. Clip is equal to m clips of I dot asset as play sound clip. Oops. Oh, did I already closed it, didn't I? No, that's fine. All right. So let's see here. We're going to go ahead and say m clips of I dot duration. Is that it? Is equal to clip dot duration. So we're going to go ahead and actually go back here to play sound clip. Go to definition. We need to expose the duration. So we're going to go ahead and say override duration. I kind of feel like it would be better for me to have a single script that we derive from, just because it would be nice to have this clip duration stuff already included, so I don't have to constantly keep adding it. All right. For now, we'll leave it as is, and I'll come back once I figure out how to do some more stuff with timeline. So we're going to say private double clip duration is equal to 0.0. And we are going to serialize this, so serialize field, and then we're also going to go ahead and say public double clip duration, get return clip duration, and then set clip duration is equal to value. All right, and then this will just return clip duration. All right, let's go back to play soundtrack. We're going to say sound. Well, thank you for following, Omega Designer. Haha, you're the first person that I've gotten right too, by the way. Not the name, but the I said followed instead of subscribed. Sorry, I know that was incredibly lame, but that's the first time I've not mixed those two up. So, either way, thank you. So, we're going to adjust sound playable. That is not at all what I was looking for. But that's probably because I'm not using sleepy out. sleepyowl.common. And we're going to go ahead and say sound is equal to sound manager dot instance dot find, and then clip dot sound ID. All right, and all of this is actually going to be predicated on if sound manager dot exists. Ew, that's not right, is it? Because that's going to instantiate it, which is not really super great. Right, because it's going to try to instantiate it, if at all possible. But that's fine, actually. So we'll go ahead and let that go. All right, so we're going to find that clip, and then we're going to go ahead and say clip duration is equal to sound dot length, and we'll go ahead and also cast that to a double. Oh, and you know what? Actually, let's see. Where are you? Play music clip editor. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this. I'm going to go over to our sound class. Sound. Go to definition. I'm going to add a public double float, or public double float, public double length. And we're going to call this so I want to call it length still, but I don't want to call it just length because I obviously can't. It would be like high fidelity length, or I don't want to call it high res. That's kind of a weird name for an audio file. I'd prefer not to say like double length because that makes it sound like it's double the regular length. So how about high res? Not really big either way. Get return. It's going to be that. Clip. Or maybe like accurate length. Precise length. That's with an S, Chris. Terrible speller. Yeah, that seems. Or precision link. And now I'm plagued by paranoia that I can't spell precision. Oh, but good, I can. All right, precision length. Actually, that sounds better. So let's go ahead and say. Oh, no. Also, I spelled length wrong up here. So that's length. Double length. Well, no. Length of the clip referenced by this sound with more accurate double precision. There we go. Also go ahead and say C audio clip. Wow, cannot type tonight. There we go. Okay, so now I can come back to play soundtrack, and we're going to go ahead and say, instead of sound.length, we're just going to say sound.precision length. Ta-da! And that's all we should care about. Oh, actually, you know what? We probably should say if clip sound ID is equal to 0, continue. We don't actually care about anything. 0 means that it doesn't have an audio file it's trying to play. So, don't want that to happen all the time. All right. That's all good. If that's the case, then I don't... Do I need... No, I don't. Okay. So it should automatically happen, actually. I don't even think I need to have some sort of isDirty call. Because I think if you change the GUI of a clip, it calls that create mixer or create track mixer function. We'll find out though. Let's go ahead and collapse this. Come down here. Down here. We're going to add Sleepy text quest. We want play sound track. Play sound. Oh. I was going to say it. Huh. Oh no, that's fair. Yeah. Okay. So this is somewhat problematic. It's going to keep looking for the sound manager. So let's do a couple of things. First off, let's collapse that. And let's pull in splash fade. Because that cannot possibly be cheap at constantly trying to find the sound manager. And second, while that's happening, I'm going to take a drink because it's probably going to take like, I don't know, a minute for it to actually load that scene. I do not know why. I really need to figure that out because it kills me. Yep. Just kind of waiting for it. There we go. Alright, let's go back to Wizard Escape. Pull this stuff up. Boop. Alright. Oh, and actually, this is going to be even better. So I need to go to our sounds. We're going to create C#. Not C#. What am I doing? Sleepy Owl sound collection. This is a sound collection dash castle. All right. Let's see. So here's the audio clip that we were using. Oh, wow. That is really not going to be easy for me to use. So charge complex wet. Wow. Just super awkward. Yeah, okay. So that means we're going to do this. Add an inspector. We're going to lock this one. And then we're going to go to U. Click on U. Drag U into our effects. Let's go ahead and rename U, obviously. So this is our magic charge. Magic charge. Were you constantly typing? Okay. Charge, weird. It just seemed like there was a bit of lag there. It is an effect. Don't really care about the instance limit. Looping, nope. Volume 1, spatial blend. Believe we want that to be 1 actually by default. Random pitch, all that stuff's fun. Fine. Also, actually, go up here to our default sound thing. Yeah, I need to make sure that our spatial blend is set to 1 by default. Because I'm pretty sure that spatial blend is 1 for 3D sounds. Pretty sure. Although I can confirm that real quick just by doing this. Audio source s dot spatial blend is equal to 0. Let's go ahead and hover over that. Yep. So we want it to be 1 by default. Okay. Make that 1 by default. We'll come down here. We'll go ahead and say this dot spatial blend is equal to 1f. I don't really think I need to do this, but I'll do it anyway. This dot spatial blend is equal to 1f. Okay. So let's go ahead and let that compile. And then we're going to assign this sound collection because I need to do that, or I won't be able to select from it. And then 2, I'm going to need to make sure that my level has a reference to it. So we're going to go down here to our sound manager. Sound manager. Grab that. I guess we're going to unlock this for now. And let's go ahead and collapse this stuff. Add our sound collection. Okay. So now we can select from that sound collection as well. Go ahead and go to Wizard Escapes. Go to play tracks. And we are going to say magic charge. All right. Now we actually, hold on. Are you set to loop? You're not. That's fair. Are you set to loop? No. Okay, good. Let's see. Volume, pitch range, that's all fair. Okay, yep, that's all we really care about. Oh, and we do need a parent there. So that's going to be our magic charge from the looks of it. Go ahead and do that. Boop. All right. Oh, that's right, clip duration. I guess I need this. Gross. All right, so let's go ahead and go back to play sound clip. I now need to hide an inspector as well, because I don't actually want that to be adjustable. I do not like that. Second, we're going to go ahead and do this. Put this all in one line. And third, play soundtrack. Let's see. Clip.soundID is equal to 0. So for this, we're going to go ahead and say if sound.loop, then we will also continue, because we don't want to assign a duration of a clip if its audio clip is going to be however long we want it to be arbitrarily. Let's go ahead and let that compile. And while that's going on, select my castle. Let's see, audio, sounds. I need to add that sound collection to this level manager. You can do it, Unity. There we go. Add that sound collection castle. Cool. Go ahead and let that save. And I think we're good on that front. Let's go back here. All right. Let's go back to our Wizard Escapes cutscene. So we now have a... Wait, is it not renaming it? Oh, it's not going to rename it because I haven't told it to do so yet. I think I'm just going to steal... Where are you? Let's see, what is it? Play music track. Yep, I'm going to steal that line. So, let's see. mclips of i.displayName is equal to string.format. So play sound clip. And then sound.name. Is that right? Yeah, I guess that's kind of right. All right. So that should be good. So now we should see this update, and again, it should say play sound clip, and then parentheses, the name of our sound that's being played, so it should say magic charge. Once it compiles, of course. Alright, let's go back. Yep, play sound clip, magic charge, and nice, we don't have that duration being shown anymore. Are you actually 4 seconds long? It's amazing that that worked out so well. Did I just do that by hand before, I guess? Let's go ahead and select that. It is. It's exactly 4 seconds long. Huh. Well, all right then. So I must have just done it by hand before. Weird. Surprised I put that much effort in. All right. So that is our audio track. Let's go ahead and also add our text quest, play particle system track. Let's go ahead and drag that above it. We'll call this particles. This is audio. Go ahead and say add particle system clip. Let's grab that. Move you to here. This is our charge particles. Wow, is that also perfectly timed? No, it can't be right. We have a duration of 1? That doesn't seem right. Really? Huh. Oh, start lifetime of... No, that's also weird. Huh. I wonder if I shouldn't use duration then. I feel like I should probably use lifetime. Yeah, we got 3, which is what lifetime would expect. Okay, that's interesting. So it must be like a combination of duration plus lifetime. I don't know. Either way, let's go ahead and go back to that. Escape. Pull that. Everything should be correct. We don't need it to do any sort of child control, so that's all fine. Cool. Let's mute these so that they're not being used. Let's go back down here. Rename this to particles old. Audio old. Let's add some particle system track and add play soundtrack. I do kind of wonder how the order of this is determined. I'm actually kind of curious if there's like a track. Nope. I was wondering if there's like a track order. Maybe it's just how they're loaded, or the order they're loaded into script. That's all I can think of, or the order they're loaded from. Particles, audio. All right, let's go ahead and go over here. Add particle system. Let's drag you. Let's see. Wizard blast particles. Interesting. So, are you not going to change your duration? Okay, that's kind of weird. Because, I mean, we set that up, but it doesn't seem to be working. Huh. Maybe anytime something on the script is referenced? That would be interesting. No, that can't be right. All right, we'll let it go for now. Oh no, it's doing what I said it would do. It's only affecting the first one. Duh. Right. So actually, we probably want to go. Let's see. Play particle system. Play particle. Oops. Play particle track. System track. Okay, really? Oh, it's because I spelled system wrong. There we go. Yeah, so I guess we're going to go ahead and get rid of this is dirty check again. It's unfortunate that it's probably going to do that every time. Is there like a way for me to at least see if it's even active? Nope. Is empty, is subtract. Parent, yeah. Jeez, what were my options? Peak definition. Duration is empty, is subtract, muted, outputs, parent, start, timeline asset. Gather properties, huh? That could be interesting. Get child tracks, get clips. See, what's really infuriating is like I would actually kind of want to use, I would think, on after serialize and on before serialize, but I can't override them. They're not virtual. But those are also the ones that seemed like they would have the most promise. On enable, I think it's called too often for me to want to do it. So I'm not really. Oh no, I'm sorry. It wasn't that it gets called too often. It doesn't get called often enough. So it wasn't reliable. Yeah, it's kind of annoying that it's just harumph. All right, we'll just let that go. We'll just let it do its thing. So we might actually see all of our particle systems just change length right here. I believe in you, Unity. Not really, though. Alright, so let's try this again. 1? Huh. Oh, right. Nope, that makes sense. Get rid of you. So that would explain why nothing happened there. It's because scripts didn't actually recompile. Let that go. I'm not gonna lie, I do really enjoy doing this sort of thing, like figuring out a new system, but I'm not entirely sure if it's fun for chat, or I shouldn't say chat viewers, although chat is the viewers. So I don't know. Do you guys, do the people watching, do you think this is an okay avenue of well, is this an okay thing for me to be doing? Sort of tackling a field that I don't really know personally, but is interesting, and might be interesting to you, but I'm not 100% well versed in it. Uh, See, so this is another weird thing. Because play particle system, I think, told it to play until it stopped. But if it only lasted so long, then there's not really much point there. So I might have just had it be that length for arbitrary reasons. If that's the case, then we don't really care about it. So I'm just going to let that go. We're going to go also back up here to laughter. Yeah, so you can see that these don't match up anymore because they're going for as long as they should. Back up here. Yeah, you're also different. And explosion probably also has its particle system. Yeah, it's just very different. Which is actually almost a bad thing. Because I'm pretty sure that's going to cause me some problems with the duration of my cutscene. But that's for another concern, I suppose. Let's go ahead and set you here. Oh, right. Let's go to our sound collection. I'm going to lock this. And next, we're going to go to inspector. We're going to check this. Take a look at you. And then, oh, nope, I clicked on the wrong thing. There we go. Go ahead and drag you in here. So this is for our magic explosion. All right. So that's all good. Everything in there is as I would expect. Yay, spatial blend worked out by itself. That's nice. All right. So let's go ahead and unlock this. Set this to be magic explosion. Duration is... Did it change? I don't actually know if it did or not. Oh dear, what's happening? It's weird. I'm not entirely happy about having that pinwheel happen. So music change. I forgot a music explosion. Okay, there we go. Let's just... all right, and then the transform that we want to center on is, of course... Where are you? There it is. Magic burst. Go ahead and grab you. Cool. Again, same thing. We're just going to mute these two. And that should be our entire end timeline for the wizard cutscene. Because this stuff up here is... Oh. Are you saying... Oh, it's... Yeah, that's fine. So let's test this. So we're going to go ahead and close this. Go ahead and save this. Let's go ahead and unload scene and then remove it. All right. So if everything goes according to plan, we should see the exact same cutscene that we were expecting. The only difference is that now they're going to be using the up-to-date scripts, which means that we can remove the old ones. So hopefully that happens, because that would be nice. Alrighty then. Open this. Okay, so everything leading up to the end is going to be the same because we haven't actually changed those yet. But we're really interested in the end part. So let's see what happens there. So I think this is the part that we're curious about. So we get our laughter, we get our magic charge. Yeah, that's all the same. That's what I would expect. So cool. That means that our scripts are working. Just out of curiosity, because oh no, don't do that, because I'm super paranoid. I am going to go ahead and move this over to the left, so you guys won't be able to see the timeline, but I'm gonna watch it essentially as that cutscene plays, so I can make sure that that it is actually using the new scripts and it's not somehow still using the old ones. That would be weird to me, but you never know. Um, so let's go ahead, come up here, open. All right. So there's that. We get our magic appearing. This is also going to be kind of weird because I need to rotate. Yep, they're still muted. So, all right, cool. So that means that our work was successful. I guess we'll also move the timeline down here so we can see a little bit more. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and delete the old scripts, or the old tracks. Go ahead and collapse these, get rid of you, and because I'm super paranoid, I'm going to play it one more time with those deleted. Just in case, because you never know. Somehow Unity probably serialized something, and then if I don't check it now, it'll be horrendously broken. All right, go ahead and come up here. Open. Okay, there's our wizard. There's our king being, well, being turned to stone now. I'm also thinking that I might add a little descriptor at the bottom of the screen to tell you what's going on to this cutscene. Some people have been confused. Cool. Haha! So it all works. Success. Go ahead and stop playing. So that's exciting, actually. I think we'll go ahead and try to do the same thing for our animations. Oh, actually, you know what? Do we have that one done already? That would be super nice, past Chris. But that probably means that you don't. Get rid of you. Let's see, so we have our play particle system stuff. Are you even doing anything anymore? Not really. Alright. In that case, I'm going to actually get rid of this inspector, because it's doing stuff that I don't need. Yeah, alright. Boop. Delete you. Let's see. Animation. Do I have a track? I do. Good for me. Alright. I can't do anything until it compiles, though, because that's how Unity works. Alright. Let's go ahead and go to animations. We're going to add set animator parameter track. It's going to use this model as its animator. Set animator parameter clip. For this, we'll go ahead and say was laughing. This is going to be a bool. Its value is going to be true. I kind of wonder. Oh, and this is interesting. This one does have blend curves set up. Oh, actually, out of curiosity, is that because where are you? Play particle system clip. Is it because of this? Clip caps are set to none. Let's peek that. None, looping, extrapolation, clip in. Interesting. I wonder what's the default? Is it none? Well, either way. I wonder if that's why we don't get any sort of blending. I'd explain it, because I didn't set up anything for these blend curves. They just happen to exist. So I'm kind of actually curious. I'm going to do that real quick. I just want to see if that works. So what was it? Oh, hold on. Public clip caps. Okay, I guess we're going to need to say using Unity engine.timeline. Clip caps. Clip caps. Return clip caps.none. Just out of curiosity. So if this goes away, then that is controlled by that public getter. So that'll be interesting. Then we'll have learned something else today. Is it? Oh, dang it. It went away. It keeps us in suspense even longer. Nope, not that then. Well, unless I called it something incorrect. Oh, it's a little c, because of course it is. Because Unity likes to, do things in an ugly way for its naming conventions. Let's see if that works. It is public clip caps. Yeah, all that stuff seems to be correct. Okay, now let's see if that works. I am curious about that. I don't really know. I don't really know what lets these curves be displayed and these ease in, ease out durations be displayed. If it is the clip caps, that is good to know, because then that means I can control blending a little bit better. It's not that. What is the difference between these two? Besides the fact that one has an I timeline clip asset. Oh, maybe that's actually what I need. I timeline clip asset. Let's see. I'm guessing that has clip caps. Okay. So in that case, let's see if they go away now. So I'm guessing if you don't specify something, then it assumes that you want full control. Maybe. That'd be weird. You'd think that it would be the opposite. You would get like no extra control if you didn't specify. Animations. Aha! So that is it. Okay, so it's the clip caps. I guess specifically it's deriving from or implementing I timeline clip asset. So that's actually good to know, because I don't need to have blending for most cases. So I can just specify none for clip caps. That's kind of nice. All right. So let's go ahead and let that go. I kind of wonder for this track. Let's go ahead and get rid of this stuff. Particle system playable, track. Play particle system behavior. Let's see. Set animator parameter track. Let's go ahead and open you up. I want to say override. Create track mixer. For int I equals, wow, not for 9 int. For int I equals 0, I is less than m underscore clips dot count. I plus plus. I'm going to say if, no, hold on. M clips. Yeah, this is going to be weird. Okay. So I want to say set animator clip parameter clip is equal to m clips dot did that wrong. Of I dot asset as set animator parameter clip. Okay. Then we're going to go ahead and say m clips of I dot display name is equal to clip dot parameter dot id. And I guess I'll also go ahead and say dot is okay, never mind. String dot is null or empty. That stuff. If that's the case, then we are going to say, how do I want to phrase it? Set animator parameter, I guess. Set animator parameter. Hello, Claril. Welcome back. How are you doing tonight? We're going to do... So if it's not empty, then we're going to go ahead and say clip.parameter.id. Cool. Okay. I think we are good there. Oh, and actually, you know what? We will... do I want to say value? No. Well, yeah, I do actually. So we're going to go ahead and go over here, which actually means that we're going to go over, where are you? Here. So this is a convenience class that I kind of threw together just for sheer convenience. But I'm going to add a getter to this. I say public string string value, for lack of a better term. We're going to get. And for this, we're going to go ahead and say return nothing by default. Or actually, you know what? We'll go ahead and say trigger by default. Otherwise, we're going to say switch type case controller type dot bool. Right, I was going to say I can just return that, but I can't. We're going to return bool value dot toString case float return float value dot toString. I suppose we'll also go ahead and format that with at least 2 zeros so that I know that it's a float. And then finally, case int. We will return int value dot toString. Cool. So now I can come back over here and say, if it's not empty, we're going to say clip.parameter dot, oh, hold on, dot id. String dot format. We'll do that. That's not at all done yet. Let's see. 0, and then in parentheses 1, which is going to be our value. So that will be clip dot string value. Parameter dot string value. There we go. Cool. So now we should see set animator parameter clip change to is laughing parentheses true. Right? Pretty sure that's what we should see. Let's see. Good. Stumbling onward towards finishing content for the demo. Ain't that just the way? What's going on here? We're doing timeline stuff. Aha! And getting better at it. Getting much better at it than I used to be. Specifically, we've been focusing on how to figure out how to get the editor to kind of automatically format duration of clips and naming. So you can see that if I rename this to something like is eating, it'll dynamically name that. But otherwise, we can just say is laughing because that's what we want it to be. And then, of course, it will say the value that we're expecting. So if I wanted to, I could change this to trigger. I would change it to a trigger. Int 0, float 0.00. But it's a bool. That's what I want. So true. Aha! That's exciting. Getting much better at this. Um, what are you trying to get into your demo, if you don't mind me asking? All right, let's see. I suppose we'll go ahead and mute this. As always, it's safe to mute it until we know we don't need it. This is an animation thing, which we don't care about. That is also an animation thing, which we don't care about. So, cool. This is the only thing we really need to test, and then we'll be good. Let's see. It's a bool. It's laughing. Everything should be working. Cool. Stop the preview. Let's go ahead and test this out. Yeah, the timeline stuff, I'm not going to lie, is super weird. It's really cool, but it's super weird. And the documentation that they have on it is sparse at best. So let's watch this cutscene. Again, everything should be pretty much the same. And if the wizard laughs and actually animates in a laughing manner, then we should be good. So there's our magic. I really do need to find a way to spice this cutscene up. It's just so meh. I'm getting flashbacks of, what was it, Half-Life 2, Episode 2? Oh, was he? Yep, he's animating. Good, 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 good. I'm getting like flashbacks of Half-Life 2, Episode 2, I think, where you get locked in a room with Eli Vance for, what, 5 minutes? And it's just talking for 5 minutes, and you're just cramped in a tiny box. I wanted to avoid that, but I can't think of a better way. Alright, so that works. That is exciting. That means we can get rid of that. So we are on the path to update all of our behaviors for timeline. We're not fully there yet, obviously, although having the wizard escape cutscene work after all of that effort is actually really, really refreshing. Let's see. So we have our particle system stuff working. That's good. So these are still using the old scripts. Exposed reference. Set TM Pro playable. Text to display. Right, that's fair. Transform, enable object rotation playable. Parent transform playable. Woof, that is going to be tough. Let's go ahead and jump over to Wizard Appears. Not sure if we're doing anything really. We're playing a sound, which is going to be something that we actually need to change. Well, not change. We need to add it. Let's go over here to sound collection. We're going to lock this inspector. Go over here. Grab you. Magic flame. We're going to call this soul formation. Soul movement. Wizard assembly. Alright, let's see. So that is also going to be set up in a way that has a negative 1 pitch with a 0.1 difference. So negative 0.9, I guess, and actually negative 1.1. So we have that range. Do I need anything else? Volume is 1. No, everything else is pretty much what I would expect. So that's good. So I can go ahead and unlock you now. Then we're going to have to set up these audio clips. Let's see. Always provide a way to skip stuff, maybe an alternate route, some secret way to interrupt the cutscene. I've actually thought about doing that before. Not for Text Quest, but I've thought about making. I had a term for it too. And it was an incredibly cheesy term. It was something like dynamic interactive cutscenes, because the joke was that it's basically like the entire cutscene would be divided into QuickTime events, but it doesn't tell you that. But then you could basically just do regular game inputs in the cutscene, and the player character would do them, and actually change the cutscene. But then that seemed like a lot of work. But it does seem like something that would be super funny. As for my stuff, I'm trying to get stuff that shows off all of the mechanics. So I need a pile of halfway decent maps that I can populate with NPCs, which need their own dialogue and schedules. Oof. Yeah, that is a tall order. Well, if you ever get the chance, and you're comfortable posting screenshots of it, I would actually like to see some of that stuff. I don't think I've seen your game yet. Have I? I don't think I have. I know I've seen Garrett's. I've seen Warner's. I've seen a few people. I don't think I've seen yours yet, though. Have I? If so, I feel terrible for not remembering. Let's see. So we want to go ahead and do our play sound. So play soundtrack. Not yet. I'm getting okay. I wasn't sure if you had posted screenshots or anything. Sometimes people like to do that in the chat. Well, when you get it to a presentable state, let me know. I'm curious to take a look at it. So we're gonna go ahead and position this, and oh right, forgot. Hold on. Let's go ahead and get rid of this stuff. Actually, you know what? While we're in here, let's see. Where's our play sound? Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Come back down here. Lock you. Come back over here. Lock you. Subtle chopping. Drag you in. I'll say wizard beard assembly. Not assembly. All that stuff's good. We have a 1 1 0. We're good. Cool. Alright. So now I don't have to add that when we get down there eventually. Okay, so now we can go to the hierarchy. Go ahead and collapse all this. We're going to drag our splash fade into the scene, and then wait the 5 minutes that it takes. Hopefully soon, trademark. See, that's why I don't say soon. I just say it's 60% done. Because 60% sounds like a lot. And I mean, it is, but, it's not close to being done, but it's over halfway. So, it's a nice little way to not make people think that, that doesn't mean anything. Alright, so cool, we have our sound IDs now. This is going to be Wizard Assembly. Nice, it shortened it automatically for us. And we want it to be Wizard Formation for our actual values. Let's go ahead and open up all of these. Is that the same thing for all of them? Yep. Cool. Now the real question comes: Do I want to have hubris? How do you say that you are filled with hubris? Hubrical. Whatever. Am I going to tempt fate by just outright deleting these tracks? No, not yet, because I don't know what it's going to do with a negative pitch. This is the first time I've had a sound with a negative pitch. It should work in theory, because these work in theory. Well, not in theory, they actually do work. But I get nervous whenever I do stuff. So let's go ahead and add a play soundtrack. Seriously, you put it all the way at the bottom? Oh no, you didn't. I just didn't notice it pop in. But yeah. Add play sound clip. Let's go ahead and let's see. Wizard Assembly. It's gonna be under Wizard Form. Wait, is that right? Just Wizard Formation? It is. All right. Whoop. Maximum Hubrosity. Is that actually what it is? Hubrosity? That doesn't seem right, but it's Greek, so who knows? It's the problem with the English language. It's like, well, it could be any number of possible origins. Just because, why bother trying to have a consistent language base? So we want play soundtrack down here. Go ahead and do this. let's say wizard assembly, put it under the wizard formation. Let's go ahead and collapse. Oh, actually, I almost forgot. Got to mute these. Go ahead and collapse these though, so I don't get cluttered. Play soundtrack. Mute you. Play sound clip. Wizard assembly. Wizard formation. All right, let's go ahead and mute you. Add a track. Absolutely not. Well, you never know. English is a really stupid language. Sometimes we get really dumb things for our terminology. Let's see, wizard assembly. Oh, yeah, wizard assembly, wizard formation. All right, last one. Go ahead and add this. Play soundtrack. Sound clip. Wizard assembly with wizard formation. All right. We're going to go ahead and test this as is right now. I'm kind of curious to see if it even works at all. It's probably good to do that before I start going into the beard anyway, so we'll let that go. And, oh, right. Let's go ahead and unload this scene. Let's just play without unloading that, like removing that scene. I wonder if that'll work. I'm curious to see what happens here. Hopefully it just loads in the castle. Okay, that's pretty convenient. I'm a little worried about the fact that it looks like the timeline rebuilt while I was playing, which kind of makes sense, I guess. Yes! Okay, we don't actually care about anything else. So, let's go ahead and reload that. And that's going to take forever. Something about the splash fade scene. I wonder what it is. It takes an eternity to load. It's really weird. Who knows? All right, let's go back to the timeline real quick. Does it play nice with custom editor stuff? Yes. Although, well, no. Yeah, it seems like it's better now. In 2017.1, it was kind of wonky. But it seems like now they basically get treated like regular editors. So you can write, and this is actually important. If you're doing any sort of custom editor stuff, make sure that you do it to the clip. I don't know if you've looked into this, but basically the way timeline works is you have two main things that drive everything. You have a timeline clip, or I guess a playable asset is what it's called, and then a playable behavior. The playable behavior is the thing that does the actual logic. So it does, like lerp your colors from point A to point B over the course of the clip. While the playable asset actually contains the data. So everything that you see here is for, well, this is a bad example because it's using an outdated script. So let me find, yeah, these guys. So what you're seeing here, this is the clip, and the clip has all of the data that gets fed into the playable behavior. And then you can, to do a custom inspector on the clip, you just do a regular custom editor that's derives from editor and is a custom editor of type, and then whatever your clip name is. But yeah, it should work pretty nice from what I can tell so far with custom editors. But it will be weird. So I don't know if you can notice it, but see how parent here is a transform reference and it's bold? That's because you can't just straight up use like public transform parent. You have, or public transform parent and then whatever. You have to say public exposed reference of type transform. And that's because of how all the weird graph stuff gets stored in an asset. Technically, that's distinct from the scene. It's weird. So be aware of some oddities there. But it is pretty cool though. It's just kind of strange and new, and therefore it's scary. All right, let's go ahead and get rid of all of these tracks because I don't need them anymore. Yeah, I hate the serialization to and from game object data. Yeah, it makes it really annoying to try and get certain bits of information. Like we ran into the problem where I was trying to with my I have a track for particle systems, and I basically couldn't really do anything in the custom inspector. I had to do everything on the track itself, which is another. It's like a part three. So timeline's gonna have behaviors, assets, track assets, and then there's a fourth one that's like a mixer asset. But you don't really need the mixer unless you're doing some very weird things. The track will take care of most of the clip related stuff. It's weird. It's a mess trying to get anything. And I still don't know how to get the track from a clip. I don't know how to get the track that contains that clip. I do know how to get clips from a track, but I don't know how to do the opposite, and it's kind of annoying to try and do stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and this is just movement. Well, that's convenient. Here's our play sound. Let's go ahead and do that. So text was play soundtrack. Play sound. Go ahead and do that. Let's see. We're going to do wizard assembly. I'm also going to assume that's a wizard form. Oof, excuse me. Didn't mean to burp. That was very rude. And who does that? Who goes on the internet to be rude? Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Oh, interesting. Oh, that's right. We still have blending. I don't know what's going to happen there. This will be interesting. So this one is this is our wizard beard assembly. Same thing, wizard formation. Yep. So this blending is going to be interesting because I don't really have any sort of blending set up. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. And I'm going to invoke Cubriety. I don't know. I'm going to tempt fate and just delete it outright. Alright, let's see. Fresco, Setiem Pro, UGUI, all that stuff is fine. I'm not going to worry about that. Alright, so let's go ahead and unload this. My neighbors are doing something very loud, apparently. Alright, we're going to let this load in. Let's take a look at this. And open. Alright. So if the beard works. Alright. Cool. So that means that our audio sound, or our audio functionality and timeline all works. Everything seems to be behaving correctly. Blending doesn't do anything, which is expected. I was a little worried that having that blend there would kind of cause problems, but that doesn't seem to be the case, which is good. So yeah, we might go ahead and call it a night because it's been about 2.5 hours almost. But also I need to get in contact with a friend to plan my trip to Canada tomorrow. So announcements. I'm not going to be doing my Devstreams this weekend because, like I just said, I'm going to be in Canada attending Wordplay, which is a text adventure or narrative. Well, what's the correct way to say that? Games that have a focus on narrative / text interactions. It's a small convention up in Toronto, Canada, so I'm going to be driving up there with a friend of mine, and we're going to hopefully have some fun up in Canada. Canada trip? Is it me? Am I the friend? I'm sorry, Clarel, I assume that you do not live in Toronto, Canada. I also assume that you live far away from where I am. Mostly because I live in the middle of nowhere, so I'm going to assume it's not you. I'm sorry. But yeah, so I'm not going to be here this weekend because it's kind of hard to do a dev stream when you're... How far away is that? 500 miles? It seems about right. It's about an 8-hour drive. Might be longer than that. It might be like 600. Whatever. It's a fair distance away. But I do need to plan the logistics of leaving with my friend tonight. So Yeah. Any other announcements? Not really. Keep an eye on the Twitter feed. I'll post about wordplay while I'm up in Canada. Hopefully, get some good advice. Talk to some cool people up there. I'm from Toronto. Don't live there anymore. Missed opportunity then. You could have partied with me up in Toronto. Oh well. So, let's see. Any other announcements? Nope. That should be good. So, as always, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.